Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Inessa and I am an author from Toronto, Canada, and I publish under the pen name A.N. Sage. I write a lot of fantasy, as you can see on the screen right now. This is one of my longest series. I write a lot of young adult, and I am currently in the process of writing the fourth book in my paranormal cozy mystery for adults. So I have been writing for quite some time, and I decided to start this channel that we're on right now to help authors and creative entrepreneurs, because I am also an artist, to kind of get their foot in the door and figure out how to do this whole writing thing and this whole creative thing and actually succeed at it and make it an actual career. So if you're interested in getting tips from an author about writing, some behind the scenes things and tools that you might use to help you in your writing journey, or just general advice for how to live a creative life, then you are in the right spot. And today, because we are getting into Nanowrimo, so if you're not familiar with Nanowrimo is National Writing Month, and it happens in the month of November, where authors get together and kind of form a community, and they vow to write 50,000 words in 1 month, which a lot of times can equal to a full book or half a book or a quarter of a book or however long it is. But 50,000 words in a month is a very, very big kind of stab to take at your novel. So it's an exciting month, but it's also a very grueling month because you need to work a lot, and that's a lot of words to get out. So I wanted to take this month, the month of Preptober, to kind of talk about how you can get yourself ready for Nano and talk about different things that can help you with NaNoWriMo when the time comes around. Make sure you check out the last video that I put out, because I talked about the tools that I'll be using for Nano and kind of my plans for the actual month and what I'll be working on. But today, I may have hinted at this before, I have been using Plotter and I've been using Scrivener in combination to kind of plot my books, and that's not counting my physical planners that I used to plot my books to, but kind of on the computer, I used Plotter to plot my books, and then I transferred and I would use Scrivener to write my books. And I've been doing this for a very long time. I haven't used Plotter for a very long time, but I have used Scrivener for a very, very long time. And recently, I've decided to check out a different app, a different program, I guess I should say, because it's online and offline as well. And I'm talking about Dabble. So Dabble is an online app or program that you can use to plot your books, to write your books in, and actually to format a little bit, but I don't think I'll ever be using it for that. So I thought, why am I using two different programs when I can use one? And because it has the ability to both write offline and online, I really like that aspect, because I don't always have to write from the same computer, the same area. I don't even have to be in the same country, which is great for me for when we're traveling. Specifically, I will be traveling during Nano in the first week, so I wanted something that I didn't have to worry about uploading Scrivener, moving things around. And Dabble is great because you can work both offline and online, and then it kind of all syncs afterwards, which is amazing. Scrivener, not so great with syncing between devices. So that was another issue I was having with it. So I've checked it out, and I actually have a good friend of mine who writes as Sedona Ashe. She's fantastic. Check out her books for sure. I'll actually link her website in the description, because she's got like amazing books and such a talented author. But she told me about Dabble, and that's what she uses. And so I thought, why don't I check it out? I actually have a discount code to use from my last Nano win, so it turned out to be great. So I love it. Spoiler alert for the rest of the video. So I'm going to start chatting, and I'm actually going to pop it on the screen right here. So this is what Dabble kind of looks like, and I could probably cover, but you're getting a bit of a sneak preview of the printed covers for Guild of Ravens, which is the subscription-based series that I'm writing, the Gilded Queens. And I have not revealed this yet, so I don't know. I guess this is a nice little preview for everybody in this community. But Dabble essentially has different projects. So over here, you'll see I have a Grave Rose, but this is actually my Orchard Hollow series. So I'm using these as a series plotter. and I will show you how I use them. So when you log in, you create a blank novel. So this is for a novel, but the way that I'm using it is if you click on this, I actually have all of my novels. So there's different books. So you can go into manuscript and add a new book. So I'm using this as almost like a series Bible for myself, where every single book will be under the same series. And the way that it breaks down, I'm going to kind of walk you through it. I'm still very, very new to this, so you can bear with me as we do this. But essentially in this left hand corner here, if you follow the mouse, so right here in this left corner, you have your manuscript. So if you only had one book, if this was just Grave Roast, you would go in here, you would add a new book, and it would create one of these little things for you. And then under every book, you would have your chapter. So this is the first chapter of a Grave Roast. And then you can add as many scenes as you want after each one. What you can also do is if you already have books that you've written and you want to import it, which is what I did, you kind of just drop your entire manuscript into here, and wherever you have a page break that is usually a hashtag number or 3 stars, it will recognize that as a scene break, and it will also read all of your chapter titles. So it will read all your chapter titles, and it will know that that's the chapter, and it will break it apart as that, which is really cool because it took me almost no time to import my entire series into this. So we have our chapter, and under each one, the scenes are broken down, but also if you scroll through, it will scroll through the entire chapter with all the scenes in it. It also has scene notes on the side. So if you take a look at, say, chapter 2, where I have 2 scenes because they were broken down by a scene break. So I have these 2 here. You will see that we have some scene notes on the side here. And when you bring those up, I could put a description of whatever I want in this. Now, I haven't done anything for these because these are books that are already written. So I didn't bother. So for things like A Grave Roast, Cafe of Slay, and Killing Grinds, I basically just hopped the books in there just so I have them all in one spot. You can add, so when you go into here, you can add a cover art image. So I will have my cover in the front, and then you get like a little cover page of this, and it'll tell you how many words total you have. So you can add a new image somewhere in here. You can add a new part to it. You can add a new chapter. So it works very much like it is with Scrivener. And I already have a Scrivener tutorial that I've posted on here, so feel free to check that out. But this looks and works very similar to Scrivener. So it took me no time. If you're familiar with Scrivener, it'll be very easy for you to get through migrating into Dabble. Now, when you export, you can export it to Word. And when you export the whole thing to Word, you can export manuscript format, which is kind of like what Scrivener Compile is, but a lot less hectic and a lot less complicated. Or you can upload it as Dabble format. Now, the only difference I'm really seeing in Dabble format is it's exporting the cover art and kind of like a different cover page. And you can export the entire book, export a few chapters when you ask how many chapters you want, or export a few pages. This is great if you're going to be querying, because sometimes different agents will ask for different amounts of the book that they want to see. So you can just go here and export it and have a professional manuscript export for just the exact amount. So you don't have to go back into your manuscript and delete like 150 pages or something to give them the first 50, you know? So that works really, really well for export. So the other things you can do, rename the book, you can copy the book, you can set an icon overlay. I guess that's just to for yourself to know, like if you're in the middle of editing, if you're drafting, if it's completed, if it's X'd out, like you're not, or if it's locked or anything like that. So this is for your own use. I have not used any of this, but we're going to get into how I'm actually using this for plotting, because every single one of these, so again, these are just exported as is with just scenes, but let's take a look at, whoa, look at this. This is pretty cool, right? I'm loving this plot thing. So this is exactly what you would do if you were plotting on a wall. And for those that know me, for the longest time, I would plot all my books with Post-it notes on a wall, like literally a giant wall of just wildness. Like whatever's in my head would just go up there. And I had to live with that. And it was getting, like, now we have a toddler, so I can't have Post-it notes anywhere because they will conveniently disappear. So I needed something on the computer. And if you look at this, all of your scenes, so these are all the beats. So I'm putting notes for myself on what every single beat for me will be. And I am color coding them. If you go into here, you can add a ribbon edit it and you can color code it. So I have my acts color coded by beats, and I've already added all the beats in here. I haven't filled those out yet. That's my project for the next 2 weeks before Nano starts, is filling out pretty much all of this information. But I have notes for myself based on cozy mystery beats and different things like that I normally use. So you would have all your scenes here. And when these scenes are done, if you look into French press, everything will be under chapter 1. So as I'm writing, let's say I'm writing this. So I'm going to start writing in here. And then once I finish this, I will create another chapter here. So I will go in and I'll add a new chapter and I'll move that beat into the chapter that it will go in. So everything can just be dragged and dropped wherever you want it to be, which is great. And once you drag it here, it will drag it away in your plot as well. I'm going to delete that because I don't know what that is. And this is counting. Actually, I will talk about that after I'm done with this. So as you can see right here, difference between the Grave Rose and Devil in the French Press, which that's the title of the book. It's already, I've announced it because it got signed for it. So it was already on Publishers Marketplace. So it's not a surprise title, but there's no cover yet. So that's cool. But on scene notes, you can see that you have your beat with the ribbon that I've put on it. So I know it's in Act 1. But we also have this here. Now, what is this? If we go back to our plot and I click on this main thing, and I can click on every single one. So I can click just on the scenes, but I can also create these new plot points. So these plot points, if you create a new plot point, there's a new plot line. So I have a plot line, and these are not scenes. They're basically kind of like notes to yourself that you can organize and move around wherever you want them to be. So I have a plot for murder. So I know where the first and second murder will appear, and I've kind of plotted them out based on my beats already. I also have a suspect interview because it's a cozy mystery. And I've kind of laid out how I usually have the suspects, but if I don't like it, I can move it around as I go, right? So I have all my suspect interviews laid out. I have a clue plot line where I kind of have the first clue, the second clue, like where my clues will fall as my investigator and sleuth is going through her little solving the mystery. I have a misdirection plot line, and I want there to be like the dead ends will be there. So I usually have 2 dead ends and I have a red herring, and I want to know where those are introduced in the story so that as I'm plotting, I know I can work towards these. And if I don't like where it is, like I mentioned, I could just move it around. I also have a completely different plot line for Piper's magic. So Piper's magic in this story, Piper is the main protagonist of my series. And her magic, there's an overarching plot. So it's a whole separate plot of like where her magic comes from, what is it, why is it always messing up, what her story is. I have not moved these around yet because I haven't started plotting, but essentially I want to add about 5 different kind of scenes or small mentions or something that has to do with her magic, because that is kind of the overarching plot that is carrying the series across, right? So I want to make sure that I'm always constantly working on it. So as I'm plotting, I'm going to say like, this will go somewhere here, and I'll fill it in, and I'll say something about like, finds out about her dad, right? And then I'll put notes for myself about what that means. So that is kind of how I'm using these. So now as I have these laid out over here, when we go back to, let's say, where is there a lot? So let's take a look at beat 8. So if we go back to beat 8 over here, when we look on these note sidelines, so the sideline over here, so you have a note sideline, you have a common history, which I'll never use, word tools, like thesaurus is here. You can show comments or hide comments here, and then like toggle the features, which I'll probably never use that part. But if you look at the notes section, which for me is going to be the most useful one, you'll see the beat, and you click on it, and these are my notes on the beat, and you can see my ribbon here that says it's parts of Act 2, and it kind of tells me what I need to work on when I plot this beat. And then we have those 2 extra notes, so plot notes. So notes for myself. So I know that here we're going to have a suspect 2 interview. I should delete this because this is an older one. So I use this from a previous book. So suspect 2 interview, and says name, where the interview takes place, the alibi, the lie, the truth, and who they point to. So I know in this, somewhere in this beat, I also need to have an interview with a suspect, and I could break this beat into 2 if I need to, because I can easily move stuff around here. And I also have my first misdirection, which is the first dead end. So these are kind of things to keep in mind of what happens as I'm working on plotting this beat and as I'm writing when I'm drafting. Which for me, this is everything. Like, it's key here. And then what you can also do is when you click on this plot section, still in the left field, I can go here and I can actually copy this plot grid. And I can use it for my next book, which is great, right? Because then I don't have to reset this every single time. I can simply just copy it, or I can export the entire plot to Word, and it will give me like a hard copy for anything I need. I can also add a new plot line into the notes, etc. And then, as I said, I can look at just the scenes. I can look at just my different murder plot lines. I can look at just all my interviews all at once, all the clues, all the misdirections, and all of Piper's magic notes. So for me, this plotting tool is probably one of the best plotting tools I have seen online, like, ever so far. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited for this part. Now, the other thing that I want to take a look at here, so in the side here, which is the side I didn't mention yet, but you can see here, there's a Nanowrimo. Oh my God, how exciting. So it says written today, but it's because I imported all those other books. So right now it's counting that as today's goal, but Nano hasn't even started. But you can actually, look at this. So you can actually choose a source. So Devil in the Fridge Press is our source and 50,000 days off. And that is going to be my Nano project. So I'm saving my pages, total project goal, 50,000, right? And as I'm writing, it will actually update my Nanowrimo board, like my actual front board of Nanowrimo will update automatically through Dabble. Amazing, right? Also keep in mind that Nano usually sponsors with Dabble and they give you some really great discounts when you win. And right now Dabble has like a trial, and I think they're running it until the end of November to give you a chance to use like a coupon code that you'll get if you win. I believe that's why they're doing it. None of this is sponsored. It's just my kind of guess. So another fun part is you can set daily goals to yourself and send email reminders, but you can also block off your days off. So what I've done is I blocked off all my Sundays and Saturdays because I do try not to write on the weekend whenever I can. And I've also blocked off the week that I'm on vacation when I won't be writing. So save those changes, and now I can see kind of where I'm going. You can also add this really cute timer. So let's say you want to write for an hour. It'll start cancel. So there'll be like a timer. Let's say we do 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3, 2, 1, and write. And now you have a timer. So almost like a Pomodoro if you want to time yourself for sprints. Really fun kind of exercise as well. So that's kind of how I'm using this. But then the other thing that you can have, and you always have some extras. So we have characters in here. So there's notes you can have. And the beauty of this is all of your notes, world building, characters, everything, kind of like you could manually set up in Scrivener, but everything is in one area. So we've got characters, and I've uploaded all of my characters here. So we've got Piper. I've got notes on her that I have for myself. So these are my main characters. I have a picture up there. Harry has nothing because he's a raccoon and that's his entire job. But we have like the love interest and who they are. I also have all my suspects. So the way I have these laid out is I have my main characters, my supporting characters. I have suspects. I have killers. I have victims, and those are my main folders. And the way that I do these is I go under characters, I add a new cast. That's how I make these folders. And then under these casts, as you can see here, everything is laid out already. So under these casts, right in the left side here, I would go in and I would add a new character. One other thing that I wanted to show you guys, let's see if I can kind of... So that's the plot. And then if we click here, yeah. So everything, you can see everything here as a beat. And I wonder if I can, let's see. Just want to see here because I think I saw this. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I know that there was a way. It'll come to me as we're working on this. There's a way to see it the same way you would in Scrivener, where you would have just your all your cards, like your beat cards breakdown. There is a way to do this. I just haven't played around with it long enough, but I knew for sure that you can do this. But then I also have like notes. So if you go on the world building, I've built out my magic system notes. I've built out some extra characters as I'm going. And then I have places. So I have a places tab where I kind of just describe and put some pictures in from myself. And this was all super easy. Like I literally took maybe like an hour this morning and I set all of this up and I transferred all my characters over from Plotter and it took no time at all. So the plotting thing, my favorite part, and the fact that I can write literally everywhere. Under project settings, you would just have like your name and you can check spelling, grammar. I'm actually going to turn off style and grammar. This uses Pro Writing Aid, by the way, to check the spelling and the grammar. It doesn't, so unlike Scrivener, you can't use this in conjunction with Pro Writing Aid. In Pro Writing Aid, you can open a Scrivener document and check it, and it will just update Scrivener there. So this has to be a bit more manual, but to be honest with you, I'm not bothered by that. Either way, I would be going into Pro Writing Aid to kind of do some self-editing and see what's going on there. So either way, I'm leaving the programs. So we go back to home, and again, the way I have actually, I'm just going to do this right now. Oh, there you go. I mean, ta-da, that's the cover. You guys get to see it before anyone else. I will go into chapter 1. So I'm setting this up for the plot of Guild of Ravens and the way that I have it set up. So the same thing, because I'm plotting as I go here, it's a little bit different from what I'm doing for Devil in the French Press, because I have all my scenes and I'm literally, as I'm writing it, I'm kind of adding notes to it. But I've also done a few more plot lines here where I have like the realm change, because I want to know when she's moving, like when they're moving from Earth to the Terra, which is the realm, when they have battle scenes, and kind of when the magic scenes start to appear. And this is just for me to keep track for myself. Sorry, my kid just came home, so you can probably hear that in the background over there. But yeah, essentially, this is in a heartbeat. This is basically what we're working with. And I have to tell you guys, I've only been using this for a day now. Literally had to jump on and do this kind of breakdown of the platform because I absolutely adore it. If you are looking to start plotting or you're looking for a new place to write, definitely check this out. Like I said, right now, the trial period is very long and very generous. So you have plenty of time to play around with it. And I think it's the perfect time if you want to try it out in conjunction with Nano. So it's a great time to go ahead and do that as well. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys out. If you're thinking of trying this out, let me know. Let me know how you feel about it. If you are a Dabble user and you have some kind of tips for me on how to use it, then definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to hear more of it. And now, with that said, I do have to run off because I can hear that I am needed downstairs, baby life. So I will leave you guys with that. Tell me about all your Nano plans. As I said before, tell me your handle for Nano, because I would absolutely love to friend everybody that I can on there, and we can all help support each other. Good luck with your writing, guys. Stay magical, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye.